Hello and welcome back, beautiful one, to our 9-day prayer portal where we are closing out 2024 with consciousness and care. And today we welcome ourselves as the divine change maker in speaking that message that our soul wants to transmit. Today is day number 5. And it just so happens that it is the 25th of December on this day, 25, breaking down to a number 7. When we get to the day 7, I'll speak to the day 7, but quickly I will mention that 7 is the spiritual cross number in the way in which it brings us internally towards the inward journey in order to reap the messages from our inward journey that we take. So 7 is a very internal cocooning number where we traverse inward territory in order to in-source that knowledge and then express it, live it, embody it, integrate it. Number 5 is that adventurous number that is willing to say, I am the middle. So I am between 1 and 10. I am that middle ground. I am that number that is willing to create something anew. So it's the freedom to change number. It is the adventurous number where it can bring new solutions. And when we can think of it, it can be the number where we take new leaps and bounds and we transmute behaviors or things that want to be transmuted from our heart, day number 4, into something new. So it is that number that is spoken out as the change that we have internally lived through. It is that divine sacred messenger in the sense that number 5 is also ruled by the planet Mercury, and Mercury is known as the sacred messenger of the zodiac. So uh, uh, Mercury rules Gemini. If you have anybody in your life who has Gemini in their main points in astrology, just think that Gemini, Mercury, are those who have come to share the message that is here to bring about change. And that in and of itself is the embodiment of today. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, think Jesus was one of the main mystics that have walked this earth to this day. And there's been many, but the one who has had one of the most, if not the most, significance to people on earth. And his was a message that was spoken because mystics, one of their main sacred vehicles or gifts is the word that they are here to speak. And so Jesus spoke of unity, spoke of acceptance, spoke of forgiveness, spoke of love. And so 5 is literally it's the alchemical cauldron that transmutes in what has had to die, to be renewed, to be recycled in order to be renewed into a new form. And so what do you want to speak today? What is your prayer for today about yourself, about others? Remembering as we spoke from day number 3 to day number 4 to day number 5, may we allow judgment towards ourselves and judgment towards others to be surrendered to be released. As we continue to hold on judgment, it's as if we are self-poisoning ourselves, because we continue to not only judge others, but we remind ourselves that we're already judging ourselves. Because as we know, if we're judging others, then there's going to be a part, if not more parts within ourselves that we're judging within ourselves. And so what wants to be transmuted? What words, what phrases, what messages do you keep naming, that you keep reliving, that you keep holding on to, as if that's going to bring about the change that you desire in another person or within yourself? And so today, remember the prayer, permission and practice, remembering to bring that essence first and foremost inwardly and prayer, into the act of praying, prayer. So may I know that not only I, but the person that is in front of me also is a holy being. They are whole beings, whether I judge them or not, as so they are. So may I be reminded, God, that I judge externally outside of me is just as holy as I am. May I be reminded, may the cells of my body remember that they are coming from the same desire that I came from. Their holy being was also manifested out of divinity, and so was mine. And yes, I can keep naming why that person is not such and such, or I can free that, because the fifth chakra, as we get into the fifth chakra, from the heart to the throat being an air sign. It's the sound. So our words can either be the medicine that we serve to another, or it can be the poison that we serve to another while serving ourselves. So as we feel the fifth chakra, the space in between our heart and our throat, and the bottom of our head, what lies in our jaw, the back of our jaws, the back of our neck, the throat. So imagining that weight, the shoulders, as we drop our blame buckets, we allow our hearts to soften and open. We bring up that courage from our heart. We release that we cannot change, especially outside of ourselves, that we love to do. And we open ourselves up to being that vehicle of change that we wish to see outside, by that we share from our voice. May we create phrases and words that are clearly communicating that expression of acceptance for what is, and also for the invitation of that we wish to transmute first and foremost within ourselves. May I grant myself permission today to also feel into and speak the words that, as we did yesterday on number 4, honoring our inner child, speaking those words that need to be spoken but not held onto. Meaning, if we were not heard, if we were not respected, if we were not seen, if we were not welcomed for our wholeness, and there's still remnants of that resentment residing within ourselves. May we take today a deep breath of permission to see ourselves, to hear ourselves, even if we're still holding on to anger from our past. Maybe on this day, making a little mandala or writing or making a drawing or an art that represents those things that need to be transmuted, that you still hold on to, that we still attach to. And if you'd like to make a little ritual, burn them and allow the air to take those remnants, for the earth to receive them as you surrender them and offer them. Offer them for your highest good and for the highest good of whatever situation, relationship, constraint you still find yourself in internally. And grant yourself permission to open yourself to what you truly want to receive within that relationship, within yourself and with that other person, if it's with another person. Would you like more honoring, more space, more compassion, more joy within that relationship, within yourself or another? Or you fill in the blank. What would you like to grant yourself permission? So the prayer is taken in as we speak it, as we write it, as we surrender all that we need to surrender in order for our prayer to be heard and for us to allow ourselves to see that greater permission that we're wanting to penetrate our bodies with passion and with compassion. Notice and ask yourself, is there a practice that I can give to myself that will help me today? So number 5 is at the throat. So are there songs? These are just some invitations or suggestions. Take them as you like, or let them also be like muse medicine for you to tune into what is a yes for you that might just come from when you hear these. So singing, chanting, and let it be words that inspire you. Let it be words that move that energy through you. If you're going to use your voice, use it wisely. Use that witchiness inside of you to actually alchemize. sighing, being silent, speaking to animals with love and with that unconditionality, filled love that they exude, or with little children, or with elders around you. Drinking things that nurture you, eating things that support your sacred system. Those are all things related to the throat. Massaging your neck. So if you use your own hands and you just massage downward from underneath your jaw down, as if you're allowing that energy to flow down into the heart, for the heart to then make its magic. Send that energy into your womb. Your womb, remember, represents the earth or the cauldron that receives and embraces all with no judgment. It's the earth element. So see, tomorrow's day you will see, SEE, you'll see what I mean. Because number 6 represents our sight, our psychic sight. But today, allow yourself to see what you speak. Make it a holy interaction. Stop before you speak. Ask for inner guidance before you speak. Desire that what you speak revitalizes you and will revitalize another. If it's going to create more poison, then I already gave you an exercise you can do with those words. It was the writing down in the little fire ritual. And a little holy confession time. For me, a couple of years ago, during my largest integration period, after I started to receive more soul gifts, after my period that was my dark night death period, I started to see just how vile my own words were towards myself and towards others. And first, I had done many years of really trying to make peace with my past. And so the words that I spoke internally towards my parents, I had been working and healing around that. And then towards them as well. And as soon as I had reached the point, there's never a perfection, but just the point where I was open for more, I noticed just how much hatred I was still speaking towards my husband. And in that realization, it really hit home because I was still so fixated in thinking that it was not me, that it was him. But I had to recognize within myself how I used words to continue to hurt and or not uplift him and or not acknowledge his holiness. And so as soon as I started to recognize even deeper that, I started to see even more so how I needed to uplift him and uplift him also so my children could see that behavior. And I had already been doing the work with my children the same years I was doing the work with my parents because, hello, what is passed down from your parents, you will pass down to your little ones. So that's why I was doing that work. And so in this last year, I have to say that the ability to transmute those words into more loving words, into more uplifting and inspiring words, has been able to uplift and inspire him. And it's also helped me to support myself in being more clear, like a clear vehicle. If I'm going to be a more clear, not like a perfect clear, but a more clear vehicle within myself, for myself, and for others, I have to clean up all of those messy words that I can so easily speak. And so one of my sacred tools, as I've shared, or my sacred gifts, is silence. And one of the reasons why I spend so much time in silence, even though I'm doing things like walking on the beach or writing poetry or cooking food is very grounding for me. But while I'm cooking food, I try to listen to mantras and chants. So I'm actually in that energetic, that resonance. What do I want to keep within myself? What do I want to speak for myself? Like, do I really want to do first and foremost? Do I really want to cook right now? Like, that's even a fifth chakra. It's like, put yourself in scenarios in which you want to speak in, you want to cook in. I even noticed a very small behavior of cooking just because I had to cook, just because um, in that time frame I had said I had to cook, but then doing it out of resentment. And so even those words that I was speaking internally were spewing into the food. And so things become really, really basic and simple. You are able to see the more space you create with the words that you speak and the words that are spoken around you. So also, as we close our time together today, notice how many words you allow yourself to be in the space with, even with your children, even with your beloved partner, your family members, society, social media, um, outside, when you drive outside. What scenarios do you keep placing yourself under in order to hear things that are not recognizing the holy? And the holy, when I name holy in this 9-day portal, almost every single time, say 99.9, let's say, it's WHOLLY. Not holy as in like a pure religious context, but holy as in whole, in and of and for wholeness, of knowing our wholeness. And so today is also a day to remind yourself, to grant yourself permission to not be around so many things that attack your senses through the spoken word. Sending you so much love, beloved one. Have a beautiful, blessed day.